The prison industrial complex is a system situated at the intersection of government and private interests. It uses prisons as a solution to social, political, and economic problems. It includes human rights violations, the death penalty, slave labor, policing, courts, the media, political prisoners, and the elimination of dissent.
It's about the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. Yeah, it's about the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got the love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. You can't make a change unless you got some love change. Do it with some soul and a little love change. We started from the bottom, talking about the roots. Every time I'm in the booth,
welcome back to the Boondocks Podcast. Today we're covering Season 3, Episode 9, The Epic Date with the Booty Warrior, in which, having conquered his fear of prison rape, Tom volunteers to lead Huey, Riley, and some classmates on a trip to jail as part of a Scared Stiff program. When a riot breaks out, Tom has to get the kids and his backside out of jail. But first, how y'all living?
Like the Booty Warrior.
I likes you and I wants you.
Man, right? To make this easy or yeah. Ooh, I'm not scary.
Saw an opportunity for booty.
Right?
There's nothing more
we
important.
should probably also mention we got a special guest again, which we mentioned last week if you were paying attention.
Our cousin's here again.
Hello.
Cousin Damon.
Hello, it's Damon, aka Cousin Damon, aka I was this many days old when I found out that Dijon mustard and spicy mustard are not the same thing.
How about that?
All right, then.
Right, me same. Never contemplated it.
I've never thought about that before. I mean,
I had no idea until my wife needed it for a recipe today, and when I came back with it, she goes, Damon, and she just slams it on the table like, how was I supposed to know?
It says Dijon, not spice.
You're like, it's not French's. It's mustard. Like, that's what you want.
It's on the same row.
This is from
Right?
This is from European French white people.
I had no idea.
That is hilarious because that is literally probably the spiciest thing that a lot of white people eat.
Dijon.
Yes.
Wow.
Like,
They make Dijon mayonnaise.
That's disgusting.
That sounds wrong.
They got to put raisins in it too, right?
Right? And bring it to the cookout and be like, what?
Oh
What's wrong?
my! Oh yeah, that's what they use in their potato salad.
Yeah, I will say this. So I saw my oldest son this weekend. It's awesome to see your child in love. By the way, and she's awesome. She was so nervous. I was like, girl, son didn't tell you I'm having dope. Like, I'm not one of those moms. I'm like, do you love my son? And I see that she does. But anyways, I digress. I'm off topic.
That's awesome. High five, Mom.
When I was going back to my son, was with his dad. And I remember he came to visit. He was like 15 and I made spaghetti. And this boy was like, oh my God, Mom. Oh my God, mouth. What did you put in this? I was like, pepper.
Oh no.
There was salt and pepper in the time season, boy. I was like, oh my God. You would have thought he was eating a Carolina Reaper. Like he was just like, oh my God. I don't know if I can do this, Mom. You got to lighten up on the spice. I was like, boy, it is pepper. Please stop saying that.
That's so crazy.
And the rest of that visit, I was like, you eating hot shit or spice because I can't have this.
Yeah,
I stripped those tannins on that tongue or whatever.
I got bad news for you, MJ.
What?
I'm the same way. I cannot eat a lot of spicy food.
I
eat pork, or not a lot of it anyway. Like, there's some stereotypical things that they're like, what do you mean? You're not black. I'm
You
like,
forgot
no,
how to
I'm
black?
scared of the police. If the police pull me over, they'll disagree.
Right? They don't go, oh, sir, wait. You like things a little on the mild side. Go ahead.
They're like, wait a minute. We're not real sure. We're not real sure here. Hold on. I have just the thing. They don't bring out a sobriety test. They pull out chicken and hot sauce.
I must have got your spice gene.
So we're gonna stay out.
You got my white non-spice gene, and I got the spice gene.
Wow, we went there today already. I'm just gonna go there.
I was like, who are all these white people that don't like spice? I mean, granted, I grew up in Texas where a lot of things you eat are on a dare, so.
That's his own thing.
It's true. Man. Yeah. So
what is that? I don't know. I dare you to eat it though. All right.
A buddy of mine try.
It's got peanut butter on it.
Those chili pepper. Ooh.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the chip to arrive here so I can eat that.
I'm looking at a stack of them right now. I'm gonna send one to Lynxi. Lynxi doesn't know that yet.
What, girl? No. Now, see, I don't eat spicy shit either. Now I eat pepper, but that's about it.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I love hot. Like my dream is to go on the show Hot Ones. It's on. It's on a. At First We Feast. If you guys have seen that,
is that the one that had Shaq on it?
Yes. Okay. And like
he's got that face.
Yes, and he's like sweating, but he's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. He did it without drinking either. He's like, I don't want to drink. At the end, he had a trough full of milk. But,
a trough?
Yes, like seriously. So I have a video when we went to New Orleans right before Corona, and went on a cruise. And we're walking down the street, and Hubby goes, "Babe, there's a what's it called? Hot sauce store." And I was like, "Well, shit, let's go in." The lady in there was like, "We're closed." I was like, "Well, your door was open." Like, you ain't closed now. You have customers in here. So my husband, my brother-in-law, my nephew, my niece, my mother-in-law, they're all like, "You've got to let her try one of these hot sauces." And she's like, "Oh, you want something?" She had like 3 teeth in her mouth. And she's like, "I got something for that ass." And then she pulls out a bottle that, is very menacing. The picture on the front. And I was like, saying nothing. Rack it up. Let's go. So she poured some out. She gives me a chip, and I don't just dip it. I like, and I'm eating it, and I'm like, what? Looking at her. She was talking shit. She's like, "Oh, you Cali people." I was like, don't start. Minerva. Like, her name was probably something like that. But, so we're standing there, and after about 3 minutes, hubby looks at me and he goes, "Starting to feel it?" And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you're sweating on your nose." And I was like, "No, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, I saw fire. And what's that song? See Fire and I See Rain? Yeah, I saw fire. I saw
James
death.
Taylor.
I saw, yeah, it was not good looking. But I wasn't about to stand there. I wasn't a bitch. It was like, go hard or go home. I had to represent California and everything. So I was just standing there. And I had this, like, you're in New Orleans. So I had my trusty travel cup full of Tito's. Largest cup ever. I can't stand people chewing ice because I don't like the sound. I was chewing, licking, sucking every bit of anything that was in that cup. And then I was like, "Babe, get me somewhere and give me several drinks."
I'm stealing that sound clip of just for that. I'm chewing, licking, sucking. That's the promo
if anyone
clip right
would like
there.
To see this wonderful experience that she had in New Orleans. It is on her YouTube page.
Oh, is it?
Very fantastic. Oh, we gotta look it up.
So I'll share it and you guys can go look it up. Yeah.
How you doing, hubby?
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, is that what that sound was? You need to do a mic stand, man. Come on.
Yeah, I need to upgrade. I need a heavier stand for her microphone. Like,
you gotta get one of these. I got the Rode. This is the Rode PSA 1 that I'm. It's clamped onto the desk.
Yeah, we had that at first, and those didn't last long either.
Yeah, the ones with the springs that you can see. Yeah, those don't. Because this microphone is heavier than that Rode Pod mic. So the Rode Pod mic comes to like here. This is the whole.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is made. Yeah, this is. It's not going anywhere. It goes wherever
you're
I
talking
put
to
it.
the right guy. Remember, like I said, during pandemic, all of a sudden, we couldn't go to the studio, and we just was like, "Guess what? We got some stuff from Amazon coming in." I'm like, "Some stuff." Amazon was here like every day for like 3 days, and all of a sudden, I slowly just saw a little studio being built.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, and there's another one. I don't know this one that I got for Tiara because this is not the Rode PSA. This is a different one. I got this one off of Amazon, and actually, it's a little bit longer than the Rode one. But I'll send you the link for that if you're interested. Because
Please do.
It clamps on making the sausage.
Work that out, producers. I'm just talent.
Yeah.
No. If I ever get like that, just be like, you know what? We no longer need.
You're not going anywhere. Well, I mean, you're until you blow up and then just leave us all behind.
We're all gonna blow up. We're all gonna blow up. No, we'll just all be under one.
If she leaves me, she has to take the boys with her, though.
I don't blame you.
Like, he knows I want to live in LA, and we were driving down there. My son's like, "Mom, I can't live down here." I was like, "No, I can. Everybody else just needs to slow down and drive." I don't understand why nobody can drive down there, and why they like putting their foot on the brake so fucking bad. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I hated. That's one of the myriad of things I hated about Southern California, is LA, Orange County driving.
Yeah, it was beautiful though. It was 91 degrees there while it was raining here. I loved it. Loved it.
You and I are yin and yang, Jay.
Oh my God. Like, seriously, when we were there, and I was like, Dean would so hate this. We went to Americana. I was like, he so hate this. It was so. We were in.
I bet the food though will be the similar on though.
Well, yeah. Well, we had Armenian food.
I've never had that.
Formal. So fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What's it like?
So fucking good.
Whatever it is, it's just good. That's it.
Yeah. It's Mediterranean style. Like, yeah. So much hummus was eaten this weekend.
Yeah. No, I like that. So yeah, I like Greek food, and so
yeah. Like, hubby came. I was outside talking, as you know. Wow, where was I? I was outside talking to the brothers, and all of a sudden, hubby comes and he goes, "Open up," and he just sticks like a big, huge hunk of meat in my mouth.
That's the second clip.
Yeah.
Pause.
Even all kinds of.
That's the other podcast.
Yeah, right. Different one today. Hey, very Booty Warrior-esque, right?
Hey, now.
Right.
But yeah, they have like they take like ground beef, but what they season it with is just like amazing, and they put it on a sword. Or you said, well, yeah, it's beef or lamb, but they put it on like a sword and they cook it, like they rotate it.
Their version.
Yeah, but it's a sword. I've seen a sword. At Fred's house. A skewer. Yeah. Yes, but they're like let's take it back. So it's on a sword. And they take the meat and they just like mold it around it and then cook it. So fucking good. So the hunk of meat that he came to bring me was like,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it came off the sword. It's like
nice.
I had that, and what else did you do? Because me and him were way too busy drinking, not really eating. So he just kept bringing me shit throughout the night. We're on the dance floor. He's like, "Open up."
All meat.
All meat all the time. All right. So are we anything we want to cover else real quick before we get going?
Booty Warrior.
Booty Warrior. I
Booty,
like you.
booty
And I
warrior.
want you. Yeah.
Call it Chris Hansen.
All right. All right. Let's get this going. So I guess since TR's not here, I'll kind of fill in for her doing this part. The episode begins in 2005 with a clip of To Catch a Predator. The Booty Warrior enters a child's house and is approached by To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen. The Booty Warrior reveals that he didn't really want sex with a child, but instead with Chris Hansen himself.
Oh, I know who you are, Chris Hansen. But see, I call you Chris Hansen. I watch your TV show all the time. So you can go ahead and bring them cameras and them police is waiting outside. It don't make me no difference. Now, I tell you what, I like you and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
Well, I don't think you and I will be doing anything any kind of way.
Okay, I see you choosing the hard way.
Okay, cut. This isn't working. Someone get this guy up.
So at that point, the Booty Warrior becomes angry, tackles Chris Hansen, easily pinning him to the counter and having his way with him. So Lynxi, you chose that clip. You have anything you'd like to say about it?
Just because this episode is so, like, if I was younger when the show was on, but this episode is so prominent in my mind. And I just feel like these are the jokes that are thrown around a lot by Boondocks fans. I sees ya and I likes ya. And it also perfectly foreshadows the episode and kind of what happens. Like, Chris Handsome is like, get security or this is not working. And it's like, that's not how things work around here. You know what I mean? So
yep.
It's just a good.
Chris was like, look, you don't run shit, okay? Booty Warrior.
And Booty Warrior was like, I see you want to do it the hard way.
I don't even need water. I just need that booty. So just
nothing as important as booty, which we will find out. So anyway, back to present day. Huey is narrating about Tom's allyship of the LGBTQ plus community. He's marched in Pride, watched gay movies, but he's got a phobia about being anally raped. So far, so bad that he's had to take a leave of absence because the phobia got so bad. But finally,
I love how he says anally raped for a man one at a time. Like it just is like it's one or the other. It's one of the hopes.
It could be your mouth. It could be your mouth.
But I think you'd have more control to not be mouth raped than anal.
It's true.
It's just funny that he says that. He just anally like.
I mean, maybe he's okay with mouth stuff. So
maybe
you know. So anyway, anyway, Tom has finally found a group therapy that has allowed him to work to overcome his phobia, but it wasn't an easy path. Later at the boys' school, J. Edgar Hoover Elementary, if you hadn't noticed, the boys have been called to the principal's office.
This is the third time your boys have been caught fighting this quarter, Mr. Freeman. This time it was a brawl against 5 other boys.
What happened to him?
He got in the way.
And as you in the episode, you'll see that the principal has been fucked up a bit. So anyway, the principal then gives them an ultimatum: either the boys go to the Scared Stiff prison visit or get suspended. They choose prison. So
it should not be called Scared Stiff now. Like kids would be like paws all over the place, and you would never be
stiff.
The real program was called Scared Straight, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They couldn't do that either, probably now.
No, probably not. Like, pause.
True. Yeah, you'd have to get the correct pronoun and everything. Yeah, true. That movie enough for me from the 70s or whatever happened first was enough. I didn't need the reboot that they did. Well, one, I was too grown, but like A&E did the reboot. Those kids were bad asses. Like they'd be in there just like looking at the crazy dude that was spitting on them, and they'd be like, "You're a bitch." Like some of these kids are so not scared. Like you that wasn't gonna do it.
Well, and that's what the warden was. Well, and we get to that later. But the warden has said that kids aren't afraid of anything these days.
They should. Yeah, they should send them in death row when they take them to Scared Straight. But I guess they can't because you have to be a good prisoner and want to be able to make a change. Some of those people are like, put them in the cell with me, I'll eat them up. So,
yep.
Our nephew went to Scared Straight out here at Folsom Prison.
Oh boy,
he wasn't scared straight.
Damon, you had chosen this clip. You have anything else you want to say about
it? Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I just when I watch the show, I like noticing little things, and I kind of miss the big picture sometimes. And the little thing I noticed here was there's not a scratch on either boy.
Nope,
not a scratch on him. I'm like, so that I'm like, man, they were whooping 5 dudes and beat up the principal. And I just got so tickled by that.
Was it they or was it more Huey? Because we know
Riley and Huey and 5 against 5 other boys.
No, Riley can.
Yeah, that's the surprising part, that he didn't have a scratch on him.
Yeah, that's true too.
So which probably means that Huey's probably doing most of the fighting.
Yes, exactly.
He was putting in work.
Riley was like, "Get him, get him." That's what.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't kick these hands. Yeah.
Anyway, next up is Tom's at his group therapy session, and he claims that he has overcome his phobia of being anally raped, and that to prove it, he's taking the kids from the school on the Scared Stiff program visit. He asked any of them if they'd like to come. They all politely decline. So then later that evening, back at the Dubois residence, Sarah is congratulating Tom on his breakthrough, but tells him that he has nothing to prove to anyone. And Tom says, well, he's been thinking about becoming a defense attorney, and he would have to go into jails and prisons to meet with his clients. And this is how he's got to do it. And so this is the first step. So anyway, the very next day at the school, Tom has the group of kids that he's chaperoning, and he's giving them all instructions. Just then, the bus shows up, and Uncle Ruckus steps off.
All right. My name is Uncle Ruckus, volunteer corrections officer. Next stop, Willie Horton Maximum Security Prison. Now, you white children, be prepared. This is gonna be like a trip to the zoo. But do not worry, your Uncle Ruckus will protect you. And as for you Negroes, well, this just gonna be like a trip to the future. So it should be exciting for everybody. Come on aboard.
So I chose that clip just because it's number one. Ruckus is Ruckus, and how he, his treating of his pretty white children and Riley and Huey is it's I don't even know how to classify that. But yeah, the other thing is that they were going to Willie Horton correctional facility, which is Willie Horton was an actual, I think he's still alive, actual convicted, I think, rapist murderer who was incarcerated in some prison in Massachusetts, who had this was back in the late 80s, had a furlough program. And he was furloughed out, and he was supposed to come back, and he didn't come back, and he had raped and murdered some more people while he was out, apparently.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
they should change the name of Horton Here's the Who's.
Willie Horton Here's the Who.
Damn. Sometimes he has some fire. Sometimes that was good. That was good. Perfectly placed as well.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's I wanted to kind of address that part, is the Willie Horton part. The trivia that was part, because I went and researched it. I'm like, when I first heard it, I'm like, that's got to be somebody. So
who was the decision maker for that program to decide that he could work? Like,
that was a whole big thing back during the I think it was the 88 election, because I think it was about Michael Dukakis, who was running then as the Democrat, and I think he was from Massachusetts, so they were going negative against him because of the Willie Horton thing. If I remember,
is that Potato Man?
He was the one in the tank that had the sideways.
He was saying that who
spelled potato wrong?
No, that was.
Oh, that was.
Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle, thank you.
The other bright one.
Another one from Indiana.
Like, there's no O. What are you talking about?
No. Yeah, no E.
No E.
It was no E.
E. That's what I meant. That's what I said. That's what I said. I saw the E in my head and I said O. That's what I get for talking shit.
Dukakis is the one that fell off the stage?
You're talking about the dude that was like, woohoo.
That was Dean.
Dukakis was when you were a lot younger, but that's California.
Yeah, no, like back in the 80s or 90s, there was a dude who was running and he took a step forward and he fell off the front of the stage.
I don't remember that part. So Dukakis was the one they were trying to make him look like he was weak. And so one of the things he did is I think he went out to one of the military posts, the National Guard post, and got in a tank and had a photo op, and he just looked like an idiot. So he had a tanker's helmet on, and it was like cocked sideways, and he just
he's never seen no sign of temper.
My bad, it was Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
1996, he fell off the stage.
Because he was probably 96 in 1996.
Seriously.
That was back when Ross Perot was running. He was just like rich and was like, I have enough money to just run. So
Ross Perot,
right? My ears are huge.
Now, listen to me. I got what you need. What you're going to have to now look at my chart. And God, I remember all that shit.
They would be, so like, if they tried to run now, like back then it was something that we remember. And of course we weren't a voting age, so we didn't, we weren't that involved, but
I was.
well, yeah, I'm saying like with social media and like, and entertainment and stuff now, they would be such a bigger
Oh my God.
draw
Yeah.
for for fodder and that. Like,
But they were considered old then. But Biden and Trump are old now. Is Biden and Trump older than what those dudes were?
no.
They have to
Like when
be.
they ran?
They have to be. Weren't
so-
they the oldest pair of candidates this last time?
That's what I
Like,
thought I
ever?
heard, but I remember Ross Perot being really old. Like, or at least he looked really old.
He just
I don't think we were
he's
young,
he just always looked weird
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
Bob Dole is currently 98 years old.
Good
God,
Lord,
dog.
Still alive?
right? He's still pushing along.
So
They're dead.
96 was 25 years ago.
When I was
So
born.
So that oops, what, so
98
20,
minus 25 is 73.
and
Biden's what, 76?
something like that. Yeah, 76, 77. Joe Biden
Old
is
and
78.
forgetful
He's
and
78.
sleepy.
He will be 79 in November 20th.
Before Obama, then all the presidents were old.
Yeah.
Except for Clinton and Obama.
Well,
and Reagan?
Kennedy.
No, Reagan was old too.
Yeah, Reagan was old.
Yeah, Reagan was old as fuck. Reagan was in black
yeah,
and white
Kennedy
silent
was
films.
in his
and shit,
30s.
right?
He was young.
He was
right?
he was in his 40s.
40s. Okay.
Yeah, I mean just
You
like
have to be, what,
early
36?
40s, I think.
Ross
33?
Perot was 62 when he ran for president.
What?
Whoa, I thought he was older than
Oh
that.
shit! I mean, we got
1930.
Biden.
Yeah, he was born in 1930, so he was 62.
So yeah, when Kennedy was inaugurated, he was 43.
Yeah, he was another young one. Of course, they make sure he didn't see 45.
Right? They were like, we let him get in their butt.
Never realized that,
and
that
his
our
brother.
presidents have all been old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
else.
Oh, white
That's a whole
dudes.
That's a whole different episode because I really think that
I wa-
family is like somebody sold their soul so many years ago back in in that family.
Yeah,
Somebody.
I often wonder if if it's old people that get elected as a way to keep them to no more than 2 terms. So
Right? Yeah.
there's no way that
Yeah.
they can even if they somehow created extra terms that you're not going to make it. You're too old.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Who would follow a coup following the motherfucker who's about to die? It's like they're not gonna. That's why Trump.
Follow
He
me.
doesn't even know the name of our. Yeah, he's like AFT. Like, did you guys see that clip when he? Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's what we call him, the ATF right now. We're like the AFT because he was really giving a speech and said the AFT. And all. That is
Who-
not
Who was that?
Biden.
president.
Your
Oh,
boy
Biden.
Biden.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Well.
Don't you? Yeah. People, so our friends this week were like, "No, you guys were all about it," and I was like, "Well, that's when we were looking at the lesser of 2 evils."
Oh yeah.
Now he's in there. He's fucking up. I have my opinion. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I
granted, you can go back and look at the last 4 years, and what Biden is doing now is nowhere near as bad. And he's not. He may screw up on AFT, but he's not talking about when back during the American Revolution that they were taking over the airports, and
It's the
not trying to put.
first of all, we put a reality star
Yeah.
or want to be in the office, so
Don't
that's
put-
why Joe sleeps
Disinfectant.
till probably 1:30.
Yeah.
Has dinner at 3:30 and then is in bed staunchly 7:30. So we can't, he doesn't have a lot to say or fuck up
No.
during the day. But
Nope.
Trump is like, wait, gotta get up and tweet. He's
Man.
dying not being able to be on social media right now. He's like literally dying. He can't handle it. Taliban has an account, but he can't. So he's like, having an account.
You were here. Get out of here, Trump. We're bringing in the Taliban. Fuck you.
Right? We'd rather hear what they have to say.
Now, that's some messed up shit. We'd rather let the people who helped plan a very bad day in our country
Well,
have access.
I don't. Taliban and Al Qaeda are not necessarily the same thing. Now, there may be people that were in Al Qaeda that were part of the Taliban, but I don't necessarily equate them directly. Now,
We don't know.
I'm not saying that
Till the story
that the
comes out in like
Taliban
5
is
years.
good, but yeah, because it's a shit show over there. But
Okay,
it's a
but-
shit show over here too. So
Yeah.
Trump blames everything on China. So talking about Trump,
Shady.
he's going to equate the two as the same. And he's like, these fools can have a Twitter page, but yet I can't. And I'm American. Like, he's shitting bricks right
We were talking to one of hubby's, fraternity brothers who's also Marine, and I asked him, like I said, there was a lot of tequila, a lot of Jameson, a lot of vodka this weekend. Yes, allegedly. So as we were talking, and I was asking him, like, how do you feel about, like us upgrading them in their army? Like they had, I mean, what you want to call an army? Their guns and everything. Like they were using shit that they used in the Cold War. Now they're like, wait a minute, what? This is like Halo. We like gave them all kind of shit. And how he feels, he's in the reserve now, so he still goes and serves or whatever. And I said, how does that make you feel? And he said, he was only over there at the tail end. He went over and said, I'm more concerned with, the fact that my children, and like he was saying, the boys, like your children are probably going to be dealing with repercussions of that happening. He said, but then on the other side, knew a lot of people that were upset about it because they had spent so much of their time over there building these relationships and being away from their own family, just for us to turn around and go, here, let's make you stronger and better. We're going to go, so it was just very interesting to hear insight from somebody who, that's their job. That's like their boss making a decision, so sitting there and hearing about how they don't feel like they're respected as, people that kept this country safe.
Oh, no. Yeah,
and I'm sure you can relate to that too. So,
oh, totally. The military is a pawn. I mean, that's all it is, for the pawn for power people. So yeah, there's no respect for the military from anybody, really. I mean, we
respect them.
Oh yeah,
Well,
because higher up, the ones that are
think,
supposed to.
But the thing, I've heard this from other veterans as well. Thank you for your service. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
I had a guy tell me that. Yeah, I had a guy tell me that.
It's so. I mean, yeah, great.
Patronizing
I'm always polite about it. Yeah, thanks. I mean, I was in it because I was poor and I needed college money. That's why I wasn't drafted. Yeah. No, and I knew what I was getting into. I didn't know fully what I was getting into until I was there. I mean, nobody really.
You were like, I hope that this random person one day tells me thank you. You weren't thinking that. Yeah.
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, I was not there for accolades or anything like that. I wasn't there for a fucking flag or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nobody's there for a flag, and those are the people I really hate. People fought and died for that flag. No, they fucking did not. No, they did not die for a fucking flag.
They wanted to get out of their Boondocks, freaking hillbilly town, or they want to get out of being, hearing gunshots every freaking day from the time that they were born to the time that they were 18. And that's why hubby actually says, he's like, the military, it's not a bad thing, but it is not for people of color.
No,
because basically that's just another way for, we're going to keep you at a certain level.
Yeah. Unless you get high ASVAB scores where you can go into whatever, but there's a lot, I mean, and I've said this.
Or go from college.
And this is the thing that I've said over and over. My experience in the military is, especially in combat arms, is there are a lot of people of color in there. And that's because the schools where they go to they
recruit at the schools that are in poverty.
Exactly. And that was a school that I was in as well. But I had high ASVAB score. I could have chosen pretty much anything. I chose to do 2 years because I could do that and go do whatever I wanted to do, get my college money and be gone. That was the shortest I could do. But some folks don't have that choice, and you can't pick that you want to go into be a linguist unless you have a really high ASVAB scores.
Exactly. And then I hate how people go, I'm going to, and I know nothing wrong. Air Force, great. I love what you do. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you how many people that were like, I could barely spell your name. And they're like, I'm going to the Air Force. We're like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You know what I'm saying? It's just certain things. You think about urban areas, real quick, like we live not too far away. We're in suburbs, but hop, skip, and a jump over a couple of streets. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, babe, lock the doors. But you will definitely see a recruiting office in some strip mall in an urban area, but yet there's no grocery store around. But there's liquor stores, and then there's
I was going to say, for the school I work at, we actually will not even allow them to come recruit. We don't offer it to the students, and we have nice acceptance rate, really high for colleges. But if a student just really wants it, then they can reach out to the recruiter, and then they can come visit them. But even then, we try not to have them come on campus because it's a bad look.
Because they always send the nice looking black kid, the Mexican kid. Like it's always a group. It's like it's like a kids on the block, but multiracial. That they send in. It's always a Mexican, it's always a black, it's always
and
they're in their uniforms. They're dressed well. Yeah.
You having people take a test, and the people that you're having take this test, they're going to score low because that's why they're picking the military, because they scored low on the other test that they already took. Like these people that they're already scoring low on tests, so it's a repeat thing and score low on the test.
Like I think like the way that other countries do it, where you have to have a service, like you have to have
Israel.
Israel,
Korea,
Nigeria,
Turkey or something.
Yeah, I don't think that that's bad, because then it's like you have other interests and you know what you can do, but then you're going to learn about. I'm doing government in air quotes again, from the inside, and you're getting those skills. So I kind of like that better. But we can't do it here in the United States because we just tell people what to do. So if that were to happen, it'd be like a draft type thing.
Oh yeah.
So I know we're way off topic. Sorry, cousin. I know you're tired over there. I know you're rubbing your eyes.
And that's kind of and all that'll be part of what comes up in our stupid white people question later.
I'm psychic. Psychic.
So anyway, after all the other kids get on the bus, Tom realizes that Riley is missing. He finds him with a toothbrush that he's sharpening into a shank.
Oh my God.
He takes it from Riley, and Riley says, "You want one? Because I brought another toothbrush." So anyway, takes it away from him, puts it in his pocket. He thinks it because Riley says, anything happens, it's your fault. And so that really rings in his head. And so he puts the shank inside his coat pocket.
And that is called foreshadowing.
Yep. So anyway, they next up, they arrive at the prison and are taken to the scared stiff prisoners. The prisoners tell them that they may think that jail is cool, but there's nothing cool about it. The prisoners tell them that prison is a system designed to keep black folks down. And this one, he gets in Huey's face about asking what he knows, and like the intro clip that we played, that Huey tells him exactly what it's all about. Then the talk changes to, you may know about that, but the rest is prison rape. Everything else is rape. man booty. You're either getting raped or you're raping. And then they use Tom to make an example of him by scaring him so much and have him take off his clothes upon their demands. While doing this, the shank that Tom took from Riley falls out of his pocket. The booty warrior notices, steps up and takes it, hides it. So then he gets up and he talks about how booty is the most important thing in prison. And he starts approaching Tom like he did Chris Hansen, finally putting the shank on Tom. The guards rush in, but they're told that they need to back up because the prisoners are taking over the prison. Suddenly, Tom remembers his self-defense training and gets the booty warrior off of him, slamming him against the wall, and then he runs away as the guards attack the prisoners. Huey, at that point, grabs Riley to keep him away from the fight. At that point, the prison is called in the SWAT team, and there's news helicopters flying all over the place. And as the riot is escalating, Tom is running through the halls of the prison and comes across a bank of payphones, and he first decides he's going to call 911.
Oh my God, I can't believe this!
Hello, 911 emergency.
Oh my God, listen! You have to help! Help me, please!
Sir, please calm down. What's your emergency?
I'm inside William Horton Maximum Security Prison, and they attacked the guards. I think there's a riot happening. They've got hostages, too. Children. Oh my God, I left the children!
Sir, where did you say you were again?
I'm inside the prison. How long before the cops come in and save us?
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath. Yeah, I got a guy on the phone that says he's at Horton Prison. I don't know, I'll ask. Sir, have they raped you yet?
Have they raped? No! What kind of fucked up question is that?
At that point, he decides to call Sarah Collect to let her know what's happening. And he's sobbing and snotting all over the place.
Again.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I wanted to get that because 911 calling from a prison. I mean, what do you think they're going to do? And of course, have they raped you yet? So which definitely hits Tom's anal rape nerve. So back in the room where the kids and with the prisoners, the booty warrior is wondering what happened to Tom, aka the booty. The other prisoners state that they were busy fighting the guards. They ask him what his plan was. He said his only plan was to get some booty. He then runs off to find Tom. Ruckus at that point makes a plea to do whatever they want to Huey and Riley, but leave the white children be. The prisoners say that they aren't priests and they're not going to hurt the kids. Anyway, Huey asks the prisoners what their plan is, and which they don't have. Huey then says, you should have some grievances, and you've got hostages. They might be able to work things out. So, so that gets started. While Tom is still on the phone with Sarah, he tells her that he has to go back for the kids. She tells him that just let the professionals handle it and stay where he is. Still sobbing, he tells her he has to do it. Tell Jasmine I love her, and then he hangs up and runs off. Back in the room with the prisoners, they are having a parliamentary type discussion.
Okay, so all the motions brought before this motherfucking committee to add a demand to the official list of demands will be ratified with a motherfucking majority vote, nigga.
Unless that demand is vetoed from the committee chief executive, at which point it will require a 2/3 majority vote to pass.
Bro, who gets to be the motherfucking chief executive? I'm the motherfucking chief executive, motherfucker. I didn't vote for you. I thought this was the motherfucking democracy, you autocratic motherfucker. Come over here and say that shit, and I'll turn your motherfucking teeth upside down.
The chief executive is a rotating office to be held by each member of the Executive Riot Committee in order of prison ID number for a period not to exceed 90 minutes time.
So I'm pretty sure that was kind of partially an homage to the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they're talking about, I'm king. Well, how did you become king? I didn't vote for you. That whole part reminded me of that. I don't know what. Well, Lynxi, you chose this clip.
I just thought it was amazing that Huey's sitting here engineering a democratic system that's better than our own, with term limits and everything. So,
yeah. So anyway, Huey's keeping the minutes. One thing I meant to look up is he's got a turban tied around his head, which he didn't have before. I'm wondering if that had something to do, if there's some homage there. I just didn't look up. But,
isn't that Oz?
Maybe I only saw bits. I haven't seen all of Oz, so it could be.
Adebisi wore a turban.
Oh, okay.
He wore a turban and he wore who else he wore?
No shirt.
And that's right.
And he was a booty warrior.
I was going to say, if there was one autocratic motherfucker on Oz, it was Adebisi and Schillinger.
Yes.
Stabler. Well, he's Stabler on Law and Order. But in Oz, he wore
I know Chris Maloney's real name. If I ever see him, I'm totally calling him Stabler. Like, it, just like if I ever saw Liv, I would call her Liv. Like, I know that's these people's names, but come on, you guys have been in these 30 years. But I want to say sidebar. Every time you heard talking about, you say the booty warrior. Is it wrong that in my head, Bubba Sparks' song, booty, 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 rocking everywhere, just kind of plays in my head?
No. But I think the turban, and I could be wrong, y'all, but my brother loves some fucking Lawrence of Arabia. I've seen that movie, parts of that movie, more than I ever wanted to see. And I think that has something to do with negotiations, but I ain't watch that shit.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah,
we are talking about the great mind of Aaron Magruder and the writers there. So could be, And what's so funny is people talk about the show and they herald the show, but they don't break it down and look at it the kind of way that we do. And because I've definitely learned more from the episodes now than when I ever got when I first watched it. So I think that, that is something that I think most people miss. Are the nuances and the certain things that allow you to think and really just kind of think about everything as a big picture about this show. So it very well could be, because who would be sitting around high passing the blunt and go, you know what? There's some Lawrence of Arabia shit
My fucking brother. I just Googled it though.
No, but I'm just saying, like, unless you are. So
right.
That's just one of the great things about it. Yeah. No, like, opens it up so much more to you.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back that even on the Boondocks subreddit, there's a question about it, but it still never got answered. Somebody said it may just be an improvised do-rag.
It says Lawrence of Arabia is about Peter O'Toole serving as...
Peter O'Toole was the actor.
He's serving as a liaison between the Arabs and the British in their fight against the Turks.
Yeah.
You and hubby are doing the same thing right now.
I didn't know it was about a real person.
He was a real person. And I think he was bisexual, if I remember correctly.
Well,
or he may have been gay.
I think a lot of people back then were.
There
just wasn't a...
they didn't have that term back then for...
He just liked booty. If he
liked booty, a woman or a man booty, he didn't care.
I don't think it even
because sometimes they also used to do like little boys in like Greek or
Roman,
like that.
Oh yeah,
Game of Thrones. They definitely touched upon and very openly went to talk about that. But
samurais we're into that.
Yeah. Vikings, you're in the middle of the ocean, for years, not just days.
Please tune in next week to our new podcast, Booty Warriors 3D.
Booty Warriors across history.
I would listen to it. I'm not even lying.
And the song would be booty, 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 market everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it looks like that. So T.E. Lawrence was the person it was based on. Actually, it's actually he may have been asexual. Actually, there's no reliable evidence for consensual sexual intimacy between Lawrence and any person. His friends have expressed the opinion that he was asexual, and Lawrence himself specifically denied any personal experience of sex in multiple private letters. So that's what it was.
What friends? This book was written in 1926. What friends does he have? This a lot.
Well, I mean, this was. I guess this was
based
off of Bob Dole. Bob Dole did not give up the booty.
He's like, we were just friends, but I kept the booty. That reminds me of Martin. A joke. If he ever went to jail, he would there being the shittiest person ever. He said even his waves would have shit on it because he'd be like, "Hey, come here." He was so nobody would want his ass. He just would wipe it. Yeah. Oh, some good stuff. My mind is that's so random thought right now, but that's all to me in my mind. It all connected. But yeah, there's it's just interesting. I had never. Everybody says every Black person knows somebody in jail. May you have a long distance cousin, but I never had an experience with, and I'm getting back to the show now, to prison life and prison experience until I had a very good friend, an older woman. By all accounts, like normally society be like, you don't go to jail, slap you on the hand, you got a DUI. But no, they were not playing in this county and ended up sending her to prison for 5 years.
Holy shit.
And she was 53. Yeah, she was 53 when she went in. And we're very good friends. So to go through the whole JPay thing, which is how you get to talk on the phone and you send them stuff, what you have to go through as a civilian to go in and visit these people. I sat close to one of Charles Manson's, Fromy? I think it was Fromy. I've sat in close to her like how I'm sat in. I've been as close to her as I am to hubby right now. And I can reach out and touch him. Yes. Yeah. And first of all, let that lady out. She's 1,000 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
They
just denied her parole last year or the year before.
She can't move any faster than a baby that's learning to toddle. Like, she is not hurting anybody. But it's just crazy to see once you know somebody in there, how it is not about rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. It is not about, making these people better people. It's so about the politics. It becomes a completely different world. And it's
about repeating.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, that's how you make the booty warriors. That's how you make, the people that are in
go to jail, you get a felony. Then you get out of jail to get a job. They ask you, well, do you have any felonies? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to me. My whole point in saying that was that, we treat these individuals like, like freaking animals. But a lot of them are intelligent enough to have this situation actually occur every day. And they do kind of have their own, prison politics that they go by. And so it's just interesting to me that, this episode, it touched upon, there's a whole lot you can touch upon when we talk about our prison system and our justice system. And it was like, how did they put all that into 22 minutes? Because I feel like they hit upon every point.
Oh, yeah.
So
totally.
The original Booty Warrior went on an interview and said that he was a Booty Warrior.
Yeah.
And it's like,
hubby was across the street and get to see because they hadn't seen the video.
Yeah.
They had never seen. Dean played it, and then cousin was like, "Wait, he got out of jail? Yes, they let him out." Like, and those are crimes when you're in there and you're taking people's booty. Like, that's crimes. And so, you serious?
Wait, what?
So it depends on which jail you're in. So you have federal prison and then you have state prison. Each state makes up its own rules for what is another charge or a crime when you are in there. So in California, per se, if a man rapes another man, then he could get another charge. In, say, Virginia, that might not be the case. Each state will make up their own thing.
Wow.
Right?
There you
Mind
go.
blown. That's ridiculous. I mean, in the world, out and about, you can't be at 7-Eleven and be like, "I like his booty, I'm gonna take it." There'll be
some type of discipline, more than likely. Never been like that, but there'll be some type of discipline more than likely. But in terms of catching another felony or like actually adding additional time, that's not every single.
I just always thought, like, on Oz, they never really. I mean, they would say they got extra charge or something, but they never really did. But I was like, it's a TV show.
Yeah.
But then there's the prison guard politics of it as well. Like, if you guys have ever gone to Eastern State Prison, I think in Philadelphia, that was the most depressing shit I have ever experienced, like in museum or history type shit. And then they have like a cool exhibit where you walk through the prison and you look into the cells and then a hologram pops up. So I sat there and watched a hologram of a lady talking about like, she was transgender and like how they put her in with the men and how she was prostituted by the prison guards in the prison for favors from the prisoners and sort of that sort of situation. So it's just like, it's crazy. Like, even to MJ's point, like what you were just talking about, like how, I know we're going to get to it. None of us picked this clip, but when they talk about like, "Are you going to rape us?" And they go, "Are you crazy? We're prisoners. We're not going to hurt kids. We're not Catholic priests."
We're not priests.
Yeah. I was like, yo, like that's
what you should be scared. But here you good.
It's just crazy. It's a different world. It's a different universe. And that's why the real life booty warrior, how he says, booty is like water. To his point, it is a negotiation kind of something you can trade or do something you get used for protection.
They pay their little boys.
Yeah.
Put your finger in my belt loop.
Yeah. I mean, there's not always one, but the one that comes in and living life, and I think that's a way for them to, of course, one, get adjusted. You may not be that not that feminine on the outside. You may not wear your shirt tied up. Like it always reminds me of the Ice Cube video when he was like, "You're like Twan." Yeah, switching up. Like they're not to that extreme, but that's how they kind of end up. And so I think it's because there's the black and white and the Mexican politics and all that, and they're like separated. So somebody comes in for you to take care of me. Okay, I'll play that role. And it's a survival thing. Like it's the things that they do to survive by choice is something that we don't look at it and we go, "Oh my God, that's so bad." It's just it's the rest of the things. It's the officers doing it. It's the poor food that they give them, which then leads them into bad health, which then, it's a cycle that they perpetuate. And we know now that everybody's like, "Hey, prisons are profit." Now it's becoming so much more a problem. But it's like, to those in the brown community, they're like, it's always been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have used this as a way to break up our families, to traumatize our men,
and continue
and
slavery.
Now you're doing it to women.
I was gonna say it's the only legalized slavery in the United States, but no one talks about that.
Yep.
The ones that abolished all into slavery is said except for if you're incarcerated.
I mean, how many people are in there because of drugs? So maybe that's not the place to put them. Think about that.
Don't be logical now. Come on.
I mean, gosh,
how dare you?
Stop making sense.
You? MJ, how dare you try to come up here, talk sense, and come up with solutions?
You're on the wrong podcast.
We're Americans. We're not about solutions.
Think how crazy is that they know now that people would like lie about evidence and just set people up. So how many Black people or minorities, Mexican, whatever it may be, that's locked up right now that really was innocent? Everyone's like, "Oh, everyone's innocent in prison." Like you can't really tell because at some point, police system was corrupt. The judge system was corrupt. And then you put them in prison where they're setting them up to either get beat up or catch more charges and things like that.
And so somebody's will has to be broken. Somebody at that point in time, like when you're out and about and you're doing your thing in your life and you're struggling every day, you still have some will there because you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You don't see that when you've been in the prison system and you've yelled and you've beaten and you've said everything like I'm innocent. At some point in time, you're like, well, this is my life, which is sad because there's probably so many, just thousands of people that they've spent their life like that and they didn't need to. But because their will was broken, that's what happened. So, yeah, it's sad. And I don't understand why people think jail's fun. I don't get this whole like let's do stupid shit.
Hell no, I don't want to drive by jail for real.
Look, I mean,
the crazy part is I tell my students it's like the pharmacy companies. They're not going to put out a bad vaccine because they would end up going out of business. They won't have anybody to sell to. Prisons are never going to actually reform everybody because then they would go out of business. There'd be no more criminal. It's like the whole idea of what a prison's supposed to do and the lie that we tell people in school, even in law school, or my issue, I didn't continue with that. It was like, you guys are tripping. It's a big circle.
Yep.
And you guys put a certain demographic of people in that circle to where now they've been running that lap for years.
Yeah. All right, continuing on here. So they continue on with their meeting with Huey, keeping the minutes and providing rules as they go along. The first motion that they can make is to add bitches to their official list of demands. Next, white bitches. This leads to a discussion about whether or not white bitches is covered by bitches. After some arguing, they decided to add white bitches to the official list of demands. From there, outside the prison, the reporters have all shown up. There's a massive police outside the prison as well. SWAT teams, everything showing up. Tom is, at that point, is still sneaking through the prison. Back in the room with the kids and the prisoners, they're going over the list. It's a list of all the different kinds of bitches they want. Tom gets to the room for gets Ruckus's attention while the prisoners are going through the list. Ruckus gets the white children and follows Tom, leaving Huey and Riley behind. Huey is helping the prisoners figure out their demands, recommends a demand to stop outsourcing prison labor to private companies. They do like this idea, but they think they consider about instead getting paid in bitches. Huey is obviously nonplussed, and Riley at this time, because of the boring conversation, has passed out. Tom is helping Ruckus and the kids navigate the prison along with the warden. And as the prisoners continue to argue, they looked over to see that the kids are all gone. Cutting back to Tom, Ruckus, and the warden and the kids. The Tom asks if everyone's still there. The warden tells them that there's a service exit nearby. Ruckus says that the white kids are all there and that he left Huey and Riley back with the convicts where they belong. Tom then decides he's got to go back to get the boys. And he tells Tom to stay away from the tossed salad guy because he's got peanut allergies. As Tom is heading back to get the boys, he hears other prisoners nearby, ducks through a door to hide. The door leads to the showers. The booty warrior, completely naked, except for his green hat, walks through the steam of the shower room and starts throwing bars of soap at Tom, taunting him. The two begin to fight. The booty warrior gains the upper hand. He confronts Tom, but as he approaches, he slips on a bar of soap, hitting the back of his head. Tom grabs the soap from the booty warrior that the booty warrior slipped on, screaming, "You can't have it!" and throws it at the booty warrior, defeating him, and then consequently fully conquers his fear of prison rape. At this point, the prisoners no longer have leverage with the two children with the only two children they have left to give, so they give up. One of the prisoners tells Huey that after spending so much time in prison, he deeply regrets all of his actions that put him in jail, and always wishes things that could have been different. And the only thing he could do at this point on is rape other inmates for the rest of his life. Tom then rushes in to see the prisoners gone and asks the boys if they're okay, which Huey replies that they're fine, and asks Tom if he's okay. He says yes, showing for the first time that he is okay. Riley ends this with a rant.
Of course you okay. You ran. How's chaperone gonna run, Mr. Dubois, huh? Leave the kids, say yourself. Is that what chaperoning mean to you? I can't believe this is supposed to scare me. A prison full of bitch-ass niggas. The convicts is bitch-ass niggas. All they did was vote. The COs was bitch-ass niggas because they just fell over. And Tom, you was a bitch-ass nigga too, because all you did was run. They wouldn't know what to do with a real nigga like me up in here. Lucky for them, I'm a little kid, so they can't put me in a real jail. They gotta put me in a jail for like real nigga little kid.
Real nigga little kid.
I'm glad you repeated that because I did think that last bit bared repeating, and it couldn't be me, of course. So
that's the funniest shit. That is the funniest shit. Like, I've been telling hubby shit that we've been hearing. I'm like, T-shirt right there. You would totally have to like on the T-shirt would have to be like shit that Riley says before you could just put it on the sheet. That is fire. Like real little nigga kid.
A top 5 list. I mean, the first one being that's gay.
That's totally. Like, you're a bitch. Because a bitch.
Yeah, everything. Riley thinks everything is gay. I mean, how many times did he say pause in this episode? Pause again.
Greatest shit ever. Greatest shit. So my kids are like, "Can I watch it?" And I'm like, can they?" Maybe the 13-year-old can, but I'm like, the 10-year-old, I don't know.
I'll let him watch.
He just thinks it's a cartoon.
I mean, Riley's 8, so it's okay.
Look, my son has a little bit of Riley in him, okay, because he's so smart. But he also wants to just be like, let me tell you what I think. So all of a sudden, we'd be getting letters from school or Jackson's in class calling people niggas and like, nigga, can I borrow a French fry? He would not, because he's afraid of his dad, like, as he should be.
Allegedly.
Boy. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. They walk off into the sunset, basically. And Tom in his tank top and boxer shorts.
Because he's hard.
Yeah, with Riley just giving it to him.
Riley don't give a
fuck. Use the bitch. The bitch.
I think we should continue this through the white people question because this all leads into that for sure. So let's go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll continue this in that whole conversation. So let's do this real quick.
Welcome to Stupid White People Questions.
You mean I'm gonna stay this color?
Hello, everyone. So, interestingly enough, Steve Martin was trending for some reason on Twitter today, but so it was good. Unfortunately, it wasn't because he had died or anything. So, I think it's because he's got that new special with him and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. Oddly enough,
good. It's so good. I love it. Oh yeah,
is it good?
It's funny. It's not like you guys are going to be like dying laughing.
It's called Only Murders in This Hotel,
building,
right?
Yeah, but it's like
building,
it's like dad joke humor, kind of how we were talking about at the beginning. But it's good. It's enjoyable. You can watch it with the whole family.
And I heard that there's going to be a second
wonderful.
season.
I love it.
All right.
You can watch it.
What did you say? No, I'm sorry. What did you say?
You can watch. We're trying to find something to watch together as a family at night. You can watch that.
There's a few risque jokes, but I don't think kids will catch it. Like Steve Martin gets a girlfriend who, when they play Dirty Scrabble, like.
Oh,
I don't know. He has an Aries as a donor, and we are pretty much geniuses, so I might pick up on that.
Well, maybe Demond will learn something.
Right?
Hey, I'm still awake.
All right. So
I did want to share with you, Dean. He
Yeah.
was talking about yesterday his favorite Steve Martin film.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to talk about that. So, let's share it.
About Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh, Oklahoma.
He said that last night. I was like, I learned something new about you. Really, I never knew that.
That's a really good movie.
They were getting over on every single female.
Until the one. Yeah. So anyway, today's white people question, which and it is a very stupid white people question because I've heard it over and over and over again. TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, you name it. So why do black folks make up 13% of the population yet are responsible for 50% of the violent crimes?
That's a stupid fucking question. Come on. If you don't know, what the fuck you doing in America? Like, hello? Country was built on our backs. And now they're going to go ahead and they're going to continue to climb up. Now they're using us like crates, like the crate challenge. Now they're going to go ahead and use us as crates to be able to continue what they want, their agenda. But, they're going to keep us, like hubby said, modern day slavery. That's fucking why. Perfect example. Brian Laundrie, whatever his name is, the dude that killed, his girlfriend. Sorry, if Brian's name was Tyrone, he would have been found or put in jail the day that she was missing. But you guys let this fool go and slip off, and he's somewhere. Come.
It's because of things like Tulsa, where when Black people were thriving, they went through and burned everything down, and then, or other places where it was thriving, and then they tore it down and built a park, like in New York, or where they in San Francisco, we just found out, not San Francisco, Marin, which is next to San Francisco, used to have big houses and stuff like that, and then they tore those down just to do, or Fillmore District, they tore the houses down just to build projects, or
like everybody that was doing great. It was
where the government helps you get the house,
government housing.
Government housing, they get like Section 8 and stuff like that. Tore all the houses down just to put only Section 8 housing
all these people out of
up
their
in
houses.
there.
Yeah.
Or you could go back to 1979, I think it was, when our president decided for them to allow coke to come into the United States, but then send it to the hood and have it be crack.
Yeah.
And now you get
and then give us guns
50 years for crack, but yet if you have coke, you get maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And you get to maybe go to a nice
for the same fucking drug, basically. Yeah. It's and not only that. So let's address the fallacy of the 50-13 thing. Those are arrests, number one. And it doesn't, until you really get into the roots of where all this comes from. I mean, and this kind of goes to what you were saying in Davis, over policing, especially for Black people. So when I mean, they're just, that's systemic racism, of course. And so like when you had cops living in your community who actually live there, they're part of your community. That was the PAL thing that you were talking about. So that's how policing should be. Those people should be from the community that they are policing. And so what you're seeing here is high arrest rates, but the turnover of I'm trying to think of the word for it. Basically, where the no, that's repeat offenders. I'm talking about where they're actually when they get to the part where they're going to court, or they've been in prison for a bit of time, and the ruling gets overturned because it's found out that they were completely wrong. So none of that is listed in this 15-30, the 50-30-13 thing. So,
appeals.
Yeah, appeals. Yeah. So everything that gets turned over, they're not talking about. That's just arrests. So, and what we find also is, and as you were talking about before with drugs, it has been found that white folks and Black folks use drugs in about the same amount percentage-wise. However, Black folks get arrested at a much higher rate than white people for doing the same drugs. So yeah, just like you were saying. So these are arrests. This does not mean, and I know some of you white folks out there want to say when there's smoke, they're fired. No, that's just bullshit. So
arrest doesn't even mean convicted, though.
No, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So the whole so when you hear the 50-13 fallacy, that's what they automatically assume because they've been arrested, they must have done it. So and it's
I can tell you, especially in college, you can go to college, and I'm going to tell you who has the most drunk arrests, who has the most DUIs, who has like situations like that. It's not Black people. It's not the people of color. It's you know what I'm saying? It's the ones who then can turn around and ask their parents for help, or their parents make sure that that's something that they never have to deal with again. Where if it happens with Black people, you are talking to your classmates or your roommates, and you're like, hey, help me out because my mama cannot find out about this. And then it just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like it comes up later in life, and we don't have I don't want to say we don't have the resources, but we don't think about using our privilege that we don't have. But let's say we have it. We don't think about using our privilege to get us out of situations that you're really supposed to really learn from and kind of deal with the consequences. Whereas on the other side, you never have to deal with those consequences. They're taken care of for you.
For me, I grew up in a hood place. Had a pal, so good with cops. I tried, and then as time has been recently, cops have done a lot of bad things to people that look like me. So I try to tell my boys that they still have to not be afraid of cops and everything like that. But what you were saying about how cops being from the community, nowadays they make it so hard because so many people that look like my son, they have seen cops in a bad light because all they see them doing is pulling over their parents or harass their parents or just stuff like that. So they're getting all this bad image of it, and now it's become to where I don't hear any of my students say that they want to be a firefighter or a police officer or anything like that.
Whereas if they were in the neighborhood and they were doing well, you would have somebody going like, "Oh, I want to be like officer blah blah blah. I want to do this." You don't see that. Same way that you don't hear many people going, "I want to be in the army." Anymore. Like same, kind of same thing. Like there's no good examples of it, but you see the kid that played basketball and that the whole town, like put up on a pedestal. And so, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a rapper.
You see the rapper that's saying that he's been selling drugs and he's doing videos with guns in his videos. So he went viral. Now he has a fake chain on. And now that's the quick way to get money and being the police officer.
And like, we can't blame them because that's what they have more access to. You're not having access to that good cop that's coming to the neighborhood and, that comes and sits on your grandma's front porch and drinks lemonade. Which you are having more access to, and it's the social media and technology. You are having more access to that dude that's selling. Let's look at New Jack City, just for example. He was an asshole. Wesley Snipes was an asshole in that movie. But what was he doing also? Giving turkeys, taking care of, the kids and the family. So those are the ones that are being looked up to because they're the ones that are doing things in the community.
That's a mob thing as well. I mean, a mafia thing as well. So if you look, I mean, the mob out back east who's running protection rackets and stuff like that, but they're still working with their community and basically, helping the kids and doing all those things. So that's also very similar with the mob. So
when you don't have anything and your lights is getting turned off and your mom's always stressing because it's only her at the house, and you could look across the street and you see a dude driving a flashy car and a whole bunch of wad of money when he pulls it out of his pocket.
Yep.
It does not motivate you to go to college or do anything like that.
True. Very true.
And that's still the image that they keep portraying because that's what our videos are. That's how we're portrayed in commercials. It's like, come on, people, what do you expect that that's all you see? And
like, I love Law and Order. I love Law and Order, but they are so good for a perp always being very, crackheaded-esque, ashy lips, kind of criminal, like, or they're a drug pen, a drug lord. Like, it drives me. I love it. Still love it. It's still a good show. But I'm like, we haven't moved on from that yet. We haven't.
They could be. I mean, if mobsters were smart, they'd be making more mobsters like Stringer Bell.
Facts, like seriously, because they're real. I mean, look, anybody that does anything like that, criminal enterprise that has to do with drugs or anything like that, they would be great fucking business people.
Oh yeah,
because they have that mentality.
I mean, college educated.
They don't have the opportunity. Yeah, there would be 9 million Jeff Bezos, and they would all have come from the hood if that experience, if opportunities were provided the same way.
So yeah,
ignorance is bliss.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you don't know what you don't know, you're happy with. Stringer Bell got his education, and then he tried to move the gang out, and then they ended up letting him get killed. I'm just like, same with religion. The more education you have, the less you believe in this myth about what happened 2021 years ago. It's like people, they came up with that saying, and it's something that's really been perpetuated in at least America. I don't know about other sides, but in America, the less you actually know, the happier you truly are. In terms of, the Matrix type shit.
Yeah.
I get you're in the system. You're locked in.
A blissful ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and they want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
That's why when something's happening government-wise, look over here, look over here, look over here. We're about to give y'all another stimulus. And then as soon as everybody cancels those stimulus checks, then we find out, guess what? You guys you no longer have the right to talk on the phone or whatever. Maybe, what I'm saying? Like, It's always something like that. It's always a sideshow going.
Or we're gonna go garnish all you people that owe they owe taxes for over $250,000 since you didn't vote for me anyway. We're just gonna go into your bank account and go ahead and take your money so we can cover up these stimuluses that we just paid.
Which is what they're doing now. And everybody was wondering how they were gonna cover it. Don't get me wrong, send me another one if you would like to. But that's how they're covering it now. That's why, that's how they're covering it now. They're taking that top 1%, and they're like, hey, guess what? None of those taxes that you guys haven't been paying, guess what? Now you're about to pay them, and we're about to put a lien on your account. The same thing that we do to poor people in this country.
Well,
now you're about to.
I mean, honestly, I think because people, the billionaires made extra billions during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I'm all in favor of them being taxed fairly compared.
But I didn't say that. I'm not at that level
fairly, but robbery is.
That's not
going into someone's account and just taking it. To me, seems more.
I mean, if they're taking it from a billionaire, I have no issue with that at all.
Jeff Bezos would not even see that money being gone.
I wouldn't. I mean, he's going to make it up tomorrow. So
tomorrow, right now, before we end, he's made it.
And I look at it from the flip side. If they could do it to a billionaire today, then they can do it to a broke person tomorrow.
They've been doing it to broke people forever. So that's the issue, is that they haven't been doing it to rich people. They've been doing it to broke folks for a long time.
It's still a distraction. It's like, okay, well, let's appease that everybody that's not that top 1%. And we're going to talk about how we're doing this. But, it could be 3 years from now. We could be doing great. Our economy's just back to normal. We're doing even better. And then, good old AFT can come around and go, guess what? Never mind. You guys owe those student loans, and they're being paid now. I'm just saying that it can happen at any time.
It could. I mean, it's good to see that those who have all the money basically are having to actually pay for society that they're making. I mean, there should, to be fair, there's, and I know TR is in the same opinion. There should not be billionaires. Nobody needs that much money. There's no way you could spend all that money.
And I completely agree that the people who have more, make more, should pay more.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't the issue. But if you've already had an agreement or whatever to where something does have to be paid, or you had a payment arrangement, and now just because the president wants to write in a presidential order to say, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to go into your account and then take the money out of your account, that then it gets really close to where you're overstepping your bounds. If I've already set this up, I've already talked to you, now you're going to go back on what we've already set up. You shouldn't have set it up. And again,
that's what
I completely agree they should pay more taxes.
Welcome to America, because that's what they do from each president to the next.
I mean, if
each office they go back or they renege or
the thing is we wouldn't be in this situation if we had a fair tax system, and we don't.
That part.
I completely agree with that.
So we're stuck. I mean, we can only do what we can do. I mean, you and I. All of us are powerless to do any fucking thing about it aside from vote. And we all live in very blue states. So that's,
But see, the difference is we're aware, though.
Yeah.
Is that people do not want to make themselves aware, whether the situation that Hubby's talking about, whether it's happening to broke people, rich people. That's why you have sell your gold for cash. That's why you have, the commercials. Do you owe $10,000 or more in taxes?
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have that.
Yep.
What happened?
And my thing is this: we are supposed to believe in our system the way it is. We're bypassing the checks and balances to how things are actually just supposed to happen. And again, it's more of at some point, the more presidential wars they have, is somebody's really going to do what they thought Trump was going to do and be like, okay, well now, Army, you move on me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sooner or later there has to be president that's like, look, we're going to do this the right way now. It's not been done the right way, and it's leading us down a rabbit hole that they're making it really hard for people to get out of. Either you're not going to trust the government or...
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that this is basically a reset. And I mean, and it may not be. I'll give Joe a little bit of benefit of the doubt over Trump. But...
Should have that 1999 reset. That would have been great.
We'll get back to where back to 1960 something, where the taxation for the rich folks was about 75%.
I like.
So, Yeah. So back when we actually had it, that which allowed us to have a middle class. And when Reagan, it's really when Reagan came in and started slashing taxes that's
because he was all about self-reliance and accountability.
Yeah.
Reagan, fucking cowboy times.
Which he fucking had no accountability for any goddamn thing.
No, none. Or self-reliance.
Yeah.
Like this is not like stop living in your movies that you used to make, homie. Like
this whole trickle down, it was supposed to make all the way down to the bottom of the hill, but it never got past the peak of the mountain.
Nope. Yeah, trickle down is bullshit. Lynxi, what you got about all this?
I mean, we've talked about it a lot on these episodes. I just feel America is what it is. It is a system engineered to do what it does. I will sum it up, especially the conversations you guys have just been having with, I took Politics 101 when I went back for graphic design. And the final test was you had to explain the Constitution in a 1-page essay. You could not go over. He said, if you go over 1 page, I will throw it out. So basically what I wrote was my little whatever. And the conclusion was the Constitution is a rubber band document that is meant to be interpreted however it best serves the person who has the power to manipulate it. That is what it is. And the teacher wrote 110%. You got it, kid! ! That it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we can debate it and talk it till the cows come home, but it's exactly what you're saying. If the government wants to take your house tomorrow, they will fucking take it. I know I'm going to get my ass in trouble talking so much on this fucking podcast, but I mean, that just is what it is. And I think there are many people who are more awake than they present themselves to be, but that they do just say, you know what, man, I see it for what it is. I'm fucking powerless. I'm just going to bury my head in the sand, bury my head in Instagram, Facebook, et cetera, like the prison system.
I'll make
and
another
that's what
podcast.
The problem becomes, yes, because even though we realize we don't have the power, use the power that you do have to try to make a change. You know, so that's.
But when push comes to shove,
oh, I agree. Everybody's so absorbed. But yeah, it's not my problem, so I don't have to really do anything about it.
Totally.
That's the wrong way to look
but
at it.
I mean, that does come, and I know, and I'll be quite quick so then Damon can give his thoughts. But when push comes to shove, now I don't give a fuck. Y'all can kill me. I say it all the time on Trash Talking Podcast. You should have killed me when you had the chance. I seriously do not give a fuck. But when push comes to shove, and then let's say the police show up here at my apartment tomorrow and say, oh, Lynxi, we found meth in your trunk. Knowing that I never did any goddamn meth, but I'm just been on this podcast running my mouth, and the government here does do shit like that, or they murder Breonna Taylor in her sleep, et cetera, what you gonna do? Then people do start to get shoved.
Damon, if you have any final thoughts before we should button this up, I know it's almost 1:00 your time, so.
I don't. I don't. Everything that's been said has been said more eloquently than I probably would have today, to be honest.
That's all. You know, it's some heavy stuff, and we've covered it. And I know we've covered it on this podcast before, and I guess we just keep having to hammer it home. So it's frustrating to continue to have these conversations. It's like you don't want it's like I've almost stopped having these conversations because it just feels like somebody's trying to lure me into a bad faith conversation, and there are very few things that get me angrier. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're wasting my time. I have better things to do. You know, right. So
you're not wrong.
It's frustrating, but we got to keep having them, or nothing's going to change. So, you know, It's 6 in one hand, half dozen the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But that's why we have shows like this to bring more people awareness, bring another perspective or another way of saying it, and then maybe it'll hit different. That's the only thing that really we can do. We can't force anybody to do anything else.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's
facts. No printer. Yeah. My son says.
That's a good place to end this. So and Damon, real quick before we go, and just like I like that, give us your plugs of everything that you're doing.
Before I do that,
Sure.
I want to remind people who are listening to this show to go to wherever you downloaded this or listened to it and leave a review. So, because what happens is the algorithms is pretty complicated, and I don't know anything about it, but I do know that the more reviews you have, the higher that you can be seen in your different categories. And I looked on Apple Podcast, I think it was Tuesday. The last review that this show had was in last November, and that was one that I did. So people need. So what y'all hit 4,000 downloads?
Yeah,
is that what you said last week?
Let's say, let me go take a peek real quick. Yeah, we're over 4,000. Exactly. I think we're getting close to 5. We have 4332 right now.
Yeah, well, I love that, fam. So that extends to this show and all of the of our shows that we have.
And Damon, we fully appreciate your support of this show, and I know you retweet and tweet everything, so we really do appreciate that.
It's our cousin.
I appreciate you guys. It's weird. It's like being invited to your favorite TV show or something. It's like, oh, you want to be. It would be like me being invited back to wrestling. It's like, really? Cool. All right. Okay, so back to the pluggables. I'm at Damon Does on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find Damon Does on any of your podcast apps. You can find in the Stack and any the Library Podcast on any of your podcast apps, and also, am I forgetting something? Oh, Disputed as well. And MJ, I'm gonna have to talk to you because I have a great idea for a different world, but it might take some doing that I don't have time for just yet. So we'll have to chat about that.
I'll squeeze that in there. Yes. Well, when we love what we do, and it's we're able to share our thoughts and our visions, and then talk about things that we are passionate about. That's why we end up having 2.5-hour episodes. So, but there's also so many hours in a day that we also have to eat and live and be parents and work and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Join the Patreon to get all of it.
Yep, exactly. Get on the Patreon.
Do it now.
Boondockspod.com/links, and you'll find all of our links for everything, including our Discord, our Patreon, our Twitter, everything. It's all there. And boondockspod.com/merch to get some cool t-shirts.
Yes. Get on it. Do it now.
And TR will be back next week after her lounging out on the lanai and
Lucky duck.
Her little wherever she's staying.
She's so fancy.
In Hawaii. So yeah. So yeah, go give us a review if you would. That would be great. Because and it's either you could do it on Apple. I think you could do it on Podchaser, and there may be one more where you can actually do
Spotify, I would assume.
I don't know if you could do reviews on Spotify.
Really?
You can do likes at least.
No, yeah.
They have something
thumbs up,
like the green room or some shit. Yeah.
Like you can favorite the podcast on Spotify, which is still helping the algorithm.
Yeah.
Us podcasters are changing the game. Like there's all these platforms that are coming out now, and they're adding things like Anchor was like, I was doing this shit. The rest of y'all are just coming up now. But it's it allows a lot of opportunities for us to be able to get our products out there and our content.
Yep.
And make them sound as professional as we want them to. Excuse me. I got cough in the microphone. Because I cough and just
that sounds real professional.
Went down the wrong pipe.
Pause.
Right? That's another one. That was another sound right there. Before we go though, I do have to give shout out because my Warriors just beat the Lakers. Holla, holla, holla.
And my Cowboys beat the Patriots. So
no one really likes the Cowboys, though.
Everybody loves the Cowboys. Everybody loves the Cowboys, and that's the law. So
it's the law of the land. No. Niners over here. Niners and Warriors all day.
All right. Anything else from anybody? Lynxi, you got anything?
Nah, dude. That Xanax is kicking in, y'all. We gotta wrap it up.
Don't fall asleep. He's got 1 minute left. So MJ, you're on outro today.
Dean, you and I just keeping people up.
Yeah. All us old folks, the old folks keeping the young ones up. All right. So, all right. Well, so we'll see everybody next time. All right.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I need you to get the hell up out of here.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us again as we make our way through the trials and tribulations of the Freeman family. We hope to see you back again next time for the episode, The Story of Lando Freeman.
Want to know where to find us on the social medias or where to subscribe to the podcast? Just head right over to www.theboondockspod.com/links.
Have a stupid white people question you want to leave us? Email us at host@theboondockspod.com or leave us a voicemail at 760-933-8636. That's 760-we-3-undo.
Shout out to the artists who've created our intro and outro tunes. Our intro is #MakeAChange by KIRK. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, and Tidal. Our outro is Good Times by Audio Binger. You can find them on freemusicarchive.org and YouTube.